This presentation will show you how to use the sources for your religion DCE. So you want to start at mcacubs.com, and just like we did in English class, we want to hover our cursor over students and go to current students. And then we want to scroll down and click on the MCA library and get to the library's homepage. And then we want to hover our cursor over religion, and we want to click where it says Ninth Religion DCE. So this is your page with all the links for your DCE project, very similar to how we had the same type of page in English. So you have to get 4 sources for this project. You have to use the EBSCO database, which I will show you how to use, except if you have the Centurion. The Centurion topic does not have anything in EBSCO. And you must use the Catholic Catechism, which I'll talk about in a second as well. For the other 2 sources, you can use books or websites. So just to repeat, you have to have 4 sources. You have to use the EBSCO database, except if you have the Centurions, and you have to use the Catechism. So first thing I want to show you on this page is I have a topic box for each topic, and I've given you lots of help in this box. So you want to make sure that you use the information that I give you, because it'll make everything easier for you. So for example, if you have Zacchaeus, I tell you that your search term hints are going to be tax and tax collectors. And then for each different type of source, I give you some help. So let's talk about the sources. We have many good books on these topics. We have pulled all of the books for this particular topic. They are all on the wooden cart by the bulletin board. In order to find your books, you need to use our online catalog, Destiny. So you're going to click on the little Destiny picture, and then you're going to click on Archdiocese of New Orleans, and then you're going to click on Mount Carmel Academy. So if you go back to the religion page, I tell you, if you have Zacchaeus, search for tax collectors. So I'm going to search for tax collectors, and I'm going to do a keyword search. And I get 2 books that pop up. I know that both of these books are on the cart, so you can then take your computer and go look for these books on the cart, okay? It can help if you know this call number right here, 220.30 XF, and that way you know the book you're looking for. You can also use the pictures. There are some, however, that have a longer list. So if I was doing Matthew in the Bible, for example, there's a really long list. So what I could do is just bring my computer to the cart and look and see what books are actually on the cart. So for example, all the people in the Bible, that's on the cart. The New International Encyclopedia of Bible Characters on the cart, but True to Our Native Land is not on the cart, so that's not going to help you. So that's how you find your books, okay? There are several types of books that are on the cart. There are some of them, they tend to be thinner, where you just go to the index and you look up your topic. So you could look up, for example, Zacchaeus. I even tell you sometimes in the books, like search for hemorrhaging woman, or sometimes she's called woman with the issue of blood. So I give you examples of ways to look in the index. Sometimes you have to look in the table of contents. It just depends. And then there are thicker books, like the Oxford Dictionary of the Bible or the New Catholic Encyclopedia. For like books like the Dictionary of the Bible, it's just alphabetic, so you just flip through to you. If example, if you had Matthew, you just flip through till you get to the M's and find your information. If you're using the New Catholic Encyclopedia, which is green on the cart, it's a large green book, you need to look at the spine and you need to see the letters on the spine. That will tell you what words are in that encyclopedia. So for example, the Centurion is in the encyclopedia, the New Catholic Encyclopedia. So you would get the C encyclopedia, and then it's just alphabetized, and you just flip through and find the C's. I know many of you probably have never used an encyclopedia, but that's how you use it. In terms of citations, every table has a citation worksheet. You don't have to use the worksheet, and you don't have to turn the worksheet in. But just like in English, I've given you a guide on how to do your citations. So I have how to cite a book with one author. I have how to cite a book with two authors. And then if you turn the page, I have how to cite the New Catholic Encyclopedia. And then I have how to cite a website, which we'll talk about in a little while. But those are your citation sheets to help you with that. So that's basically how you use the books. And then you have the EBSCO database. So this is a database we haven't used before. So I'm going to show you how to use it. You click on this Explora button right here, and then you need to put in your username and password. I am going to type in the username, but I cannot show you the password on the screen. So the password is on the bulletin board, the library's bulletin board, right where the cart of books are. So you want to use this second box, and it's really helpful if you follow along with me. You want to use the second box, and the password is MT Carmel Academy, all lowercase. And then you want to click continue, and you want to type in that password that's on the library's bulletin board, and then you're going to click sign in. And you can save it if your computer asks you to sign in. So EBSCO has a list of databases. The database that we want to use is called Explora Middle and High Schools. So we're going to click on Explora. And if you go back to the website that I built for you, I tell you some search terms, okay? I'm actually going to use the hemorrhaging woman because it's a good example for me. So I'm just going to come here and highlight hemorrhaging woman in Jesus. And then I'm going to come to EBSCO, and I'm going to search. And I get a bunch of results. So I want to show you the first one. So looking at this first one, you wouldn't think by the title, because it talks about people living with HIV, that this would be a good article for you, but it actually is a really good article. And you can even click on the show more, and it will give you the abstract or the summary, and you can see how many times it mentions Jesus. It mentions Jesus dealing with the woman and the issue of blood. So this is actually a good article to use. So if you want to use the article, you click where it says access options. I'm just going to choose the PDF. And it's going to load my article. So a couple of things. EBSCO will give you the citation. You can get this citation right up here with these little quotation marks. So I'm going to click on that. Very, very important. It gives you the citation for the Brazilian standard first. Do not use this one. This one is in Portuguese. You want to use the arrow and find MLA, and then you want to highlight, copy, and paste this into a Google Doc, just like we did with English. That is the correct citation. And then you can print it. It is free to print while you are in class today, free to print from your laptop. I forgot to mention that you can make copies with the copy machine. That always costs 10 cents a page. And so I'm going to click print. And then I want to make sure I'm printing to the library BW pool. I want to tell it the pages if I don't want the whole thing. Use custom and tell it what pages you want. And then you always want to make sure you're printing on both sides, and then click print. So that's how you get your article. You can also download your article if you want to. You don't have to print it if you don't want to. And then you can just use this arrow and go back and keep looking through EBSCO. So remember, you just have to get one thing in EBSCO, except if you have the Centurion. But you can use much more if you find more in EBSCO. And so that's how you use EBSCO. All right, another source you have to use is the Catechism of the Catholic Church, and I'm going to show you how to use the Catechism, and then I'll talk about websites. So the Catechism can be difficult to use. I have 3 copies of the Catechism. They are green. They are on the second shelf of the wooden cart. The paper copies are usually easier to use than the electronic copy, but I have a link for the electronic copy here. But for our purposes, I have to show you how to use it on the electronic copy, but just know that I think the paper copy is easier to use. So if this is the Catechism of the Catholic Church, it's really important to go to the back and find the index of citations. The index of citations. And you can see here that it has all of the books of the Bible. Like here is Luke, here is John. So you find the book of the Bible that you are looking in, and then this row right here shows you the scriptures. So for example, and I'm just going to pick on this one because I already looked it up right here. If I was doing John chapter 2, verse 18, it's telling me that I need to go find paragraph 575, not page number, paragraph 575. So then you would flip through the book, and I'm going to show you what to look for. I'm going to use the index over here, and I'm just going to click on this one right here because it shows me what I want. So you see right here these bold numbers. These are the paragraph numbers, okay? And so I'm looking for paragraph 575. And so here it is. Here's paragraph 575. So that's what you need to look for. It's all in number order. You look for the paragraph number. And so I would read through the catechism here, and I would see how it applies to my story, or how is Jesus treating the person or the group of people that I'm focusing my research on, the marginalized group that I'm focusing my research on. So hopefully you can find something in there that you can use. You can make copies of the catechism if you want, or if you want to try to do it from here, you can try that too. The paper ones are easier to use, but you have to get something for the catechism. In terms of citing the catechism, I have the citation for the catechism down here at the bottom of the religion website, because the catechism can be a little difficult to cite. So I have the citation down here. Okay, last type of source is a website. So you can go out on Google and find websites. However, you have to evaluate the websites that you find, because there are many people that put out information on the internet about faith-based topics that are not experts. So I really want to encourage you to find Catholic interpretations of your scripture, find Catholic websites. That way you're pretty much okay. But if you find something that you can't figure out if it's a Catholic website, just raise your hand, ask your teacher, and see if they can help you figure out if you can use it or not. Or if the librarian is up here, you can ask a librarian. But you have to figure out who's responsible for it. I gave every topic a starter website. So every topic has a starter website, at least one. You can use my website, and that way you don't even have to bother going to look. But if you want to continue to look, then I'm going to use Zacchaeus as an example. So when I search Zacchaeus, I want to look for Catholic sources first, okay? This is an example of something that is a church. Just because something says it is a church, you have to go research the church and research the person responsible for the church and make sure that it's not just somebody who went off and created their own church. That's why it's so important to really look for Catholic sources. That really helps you. But that's basically what you would go through. If we were in class, I would show you an example of one I wouldn't use. I don't want to do that on a video, but you would just kind of go through here. I will show you how to kind of figure out what to do. Okay, so this is Bible Bulletin Board. I've never looked at this site before. Hopefully it loads. Okay, so it says it's by George Whitefield, okay? And actually, it says he was alive a long time ago. But so what I'd have to do is take his name, and I'd have to go Google it and just see what I can find out about George Whitefield, or Whitefield. So he was an English minister and preacher. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily use this for this particular project, but at least I find out who he is, what he is, and you can always ask your teacher to help you if you can't figure out if it's a website that you should use. In terms of citing websites, I have how to cite a website on the third page of the citation worksheet. So I'm just going to go through how to cite a website right now just to show you how to do it. And so I'm going to use this Vatican one. So if I was doing the Vatican one, I actually have the Vatican right here as a sample. So Pope Francis is my author, so I would put him as my author. And then your article title goes in quotes. And this would be my article title, Mercy Gives Dignity, and then the scripture. So that would be my article title in quotes. My website title is, if I go down, it's actually the Holy See. If I click on this to go back, I can see what it's called, the Holy See. So that's my website title, that's in italics. And then I go down to the bottom, and I'm going to say that the Vatican is my publisher. Okay, this is the Vatican in Italian. So the Vatican is my publisher. And then I get the date. So here is the date for the article. I put my date in. You don't need the Wednesday. And then you need the link up here. And then you need the date that you looked at it, which would be today's date. So the sample shows you how to do a website citation. Some other little hints before you get started. It is a really good idea to open up a Google Doc for your group and share it with everybody. Take the questions that are in the second step for the DCE and put them in the Google Doc so you can see the questions, so you can figure out what information you're trying to get. And then it's also a really good idea to kind of divide up the types of sources. So have one person look at books, one person look at the catechism, one person look at Explora, one person look at websites, and then you all can kind of put your information on the Google Doc, and it helps make that process so much easier. I'm sorry I couldn't be here with you today, but if you have any trouble, I will be here later on today, and I'm usually here every day, so I am more than willing to help you. So thank you very much.